The man arrested for the murder of Bokgabo Poo is expected to apply for bail in the Benoni Magistrate's Court today. Ntokozo Zikhali is accused of kidnapping and killing the 4-year-old from Wattville earlier this month. While her mutilated body was found, we're told some parts are still missing. Newzroom Afrika's Tondani Takalani is watching this for us. Live to us now from just outside court. And Tondani, the last time this matter was in court, we saw Bokgabo's father struggle to contain his emotions and lunging at the suspect. I imagine today is going to be much calmer, but what do you know about what to expect?
Well, 30-year-old Ntokozo Zikhali is expected to make a formal bail application here in the Benoni Magistrate's Court. He faces charges of murder, rape, kidnapping, and abuse of a cost, amongst others. But to better understand how we got here, we need to track back to the 10th of October when 4-year-old Bokgabo Poo left her home to routinely play with her friends as she usually does. But when she didn't return home on that day or in the early evening, her caregiver, primary caregiver, who is a grandmother, got worried and then alerted both the parents, who would later join a search party for her, which then turned to naught basically, and she was then reported missing by her family to the local police station. We now understand though that on the 11th of October, a woman who was sweeping her yard, and this is the point where I put a quick note to our viewers that some of them may find details that I'm going to say next are somewhat disturbing. The neighbor then found a foot belonging to a child in her yard, and then about 800 meters away from her yard, a torso belonging to a young person was then found. Police were alerted and they collected those remains, later alerting the family or asking the family to identify the body on that weekend. The body on the Monday of the 17th went to I positively identified the body, confirming that those remains are likely to be those of little Bokgabo. On that day, a person, Ntokozo Zikhali, then appeared in court, supposedly for a bail application, and that's when what you're mentioning now, that we saw her father lunging towards him, supposedly, overcome with emotion. Those scenes played out in court, but those proceedings were then postponed because even his lawyer then pulled out of the case on the 11th hour. Today, though, here in the Benoni Magistrate's Court, we are seeing a lot of people outside court. I'm going to ask my colleague Morena to quickly pan around and show you what we're seeing outside the court. Activists, political parties, a lot of police and religious groups alike are here to show their support and basically raise their voice that Zikhali shouldn't be given bail. I'm going to be speaking to some of them in a moment. In fact, right in front of me, I'm standing with a few ladies. One of them was telling me earlier on that you know the family quite well, including little Bokgabo. How so?
Baby Bokgabo, when she was 2 years, she used to come to my house, no mama wake. Her mother used to work in the office of Councillor Sbia, and she was a very, very bubbly baby, a happy baby, or active one. So it's a tragedy, and I understand what is happening in our country nowadays. As the Women's League from Ward 73, here in Dizaputini zone, sibhlungu kakhulu, sibhlungu kuyo yonke lento eyenzakalayo ukuthi what is happening in our country, what is really happening in our country.
Let's talk about this. You stay in the same neighborhood as the family. How did you come to know of Bokgabo's disappearance and ultimate loss of life? Baby Bokgabo, we from our neighborhood A1. We had this thing from Monday on the 10th of October. There's a missing child. Then after Sazuguchi, this missing child is a child that is Mazione, or Baby Bokgabo. It was so painful for us. It was very painful for us. I don't think this thing, it's something that is happy ngayo, esingavumela ukuthi yenzeke noma kubani.
It's very painful thing. It's a very painful thing.
You are here today. I suppose you were here the last time as the alleged killer appears in court today. What is your message?
We need our police and nomthetho wase South Africa ukuthi they must do justice for Bokgabo. We need ubhekisele phansi lana azo ansara ukuthi is this something that kufanele simele siyama South African siyabo mama abazele la South Africa. He must come here and babe ne justice with this guy. Actually this guy fanele ngabe akekho la ngaphakathi. I feel what is happening. Into akayenzile emntwaneni. Baby Bokgabo doesn't deserve this, and no one deserves this.
I'm truly sorry for your loss, and thank you for your time. Yeah, her message, resonates amongst all of those who are gathered behind me, saying that the alleged killer shouldn't be given bail. In fact, we now know from the previous court appearance that Zikhali was out on bail and has a pending case of rape against yet another minor, which he was granted bail for. And so, activists and other religious groups that are gathered here are saying that had he not been released on bail in that previous case, then the likelihood is that Bokgabo will still be alive. So they are discouraging that he gets bail today, and we shall see in court if he does go ahead with this formal bail application and whether or not he will this time around have legal aid representation, given that, like I mentioned, his lawyer previously pulled out from the case on the 11th hour. All of that we'll find out within the next hour or so. Among those who are expected in court today include Gauteng Community Safety MEC Faith Mazibuko, whom her officers will be in attendance here in court today. We know that the provincial government has been very vocal around this case. In fact, Gauteng Premier himself, Sufi, visited the family last week, offering his condolences and also discouraging that the alleged killer gets bail. He also spoke about that pending case against the alleged killer, and he also revealed that the body parts of some of the body parts belonging to little Bokgabo are still missing. So we expect to hear more of these details in court today.
Tondani, Takalani, live to us from the Benoni Magistrate's Court, at least just outside the courtroom. Thanks very much indeed.